And we're doing a screen share, so you should all be able to see my screen, which is showing one of everyone's favorite things, a Mentimeter poll. John, 2 thumbs up. Whoa, slow down. We got a lot of thumbs to be given out today, so just pace yourself. So for those of you who haven't interacted with our Mentimeter polls, we try to do a lot of polling to involve people. This is one of the ways we'll do it. But to do that, you gotta get warmed up. So open a browser, could be on your computer, open another browser, or it could be on your phone, whichever one's easiest for you. Go to menti.com, you can see it there at the top of the screen, menti.com. Type in those 8 numbers, those 8 single numbers, or that one 8-digit number, and let us know what your favorite things were about the summer. Sailing lessons at my local reservoir. Oh, wow, that sounds great. Trip to the Oregon coast. Who has not been to the Oregon coast? It's pretty great. I would say Tamara knows this. Maybe John knows this, Feldman. Tofino, like on the BC coast, that's probably the most ridiculous place. But then after that, I would say Oregon coast for the mainland US coast is pretty amazing. So that's great. Let's see, Disney World and Hawaii. Whoa, nice. Camping in your trailer, lovely. Trip to Glacier. That sounds amazing. Who, if your webcam's on, raise your hand. Who did the trip to Glacier? Oh, that's right, yeah. And you had to go into the Sun Road and all that. Oh, it's so great. Swimming Canadian lakes. Not the same as swimming on a warm beach, but still quite lovely. Opening windows all summer except for the smoke. Yeah. Hiking the Blue Ridge Mountains. A trip to Miami. Lovely. 4th of July fireworks. Yeah.
Seeing friends. That's the best one.
Yeah, that's right. That's awesome, Greg. Yeah. Yeah, lots of friends and family. Lots of pool time. Being outside away from home. My home workspace. I know nowadays with us working from home, it's just like our home is our work. It's kind of, so it's we gotta try harder to get outside. By the way, I'm loving everyone sharing their cams. It's good to see your faces, especially faces I haven't seen in a while. Hey Anna, nice to see you. Hello. Yeah, everyone. Again, a lot of folks I get to see a lot of the time, and so also good to see you as well. Emma and Kevin and Shelly and all kinds of lovely people. Faith, hello. Else, yeah, well, keep on coming in, and again, as you're coming in, you can see the poll.
T-shirts, I love that one.
Yeah.
Up here in the east, it's starting to get a little chilly, so the T-shirts are going away, unfortunately.
No kidding, it is feeling like fall.
Exactly.
Yeah, me, I'm wearing a long sleeve flannelist shirt. I may put on the puffy vest for those of you who missed that from last webinar from last winter. Great seeing everybody respond to the poll. Need a chance. Hey Kim, nice to see you. Let's see. Welcome Greg Bonser. Hello. Nice to see you, Sarah. Some of the folks. Again, if you can turn on your webcam, we'll be doing some breakouts and other things, and so having those cams on to interact with folks will be great. Okay, we'll leave this poll open, and so you can so leave that open. If you want to, if you're still typing in something, that's great. Well, please leave that browser open on your computer though. So once we flip back over the slides, because we will be doing some of the polling later on. So with that, Greg, we'll pass it over to you.
Yeah, well, welcome everybody. I'm super psyched we're all be able to get back together. You know, we've been looking forward to this. We've been doing a bunch of work to try to narrow the focus of our efforts for the North American SEM Collaborative. You know, a lot of effort's been put into streamlining our process. So we have you know, a great membership group. A lot of you are here with us today, and also, you know, really understanding where we want to move forward with our next research effort, which we're going to dig into today. Before we go a little bit further into learning more about how the research is going to take shape, we wanted to also spend some time today really talking about success stories. We're thinking the North American SAM Collaborative could be a good convener for understanding really what are all the great successes there are in the SAM community, and really helping to not only publicize, but just make sure people are aware of the good things going on. So, bolstering the community aspect and offering the opportunity for people to learn more through other people's successes. So we're going to spend some time today just brainstorming different ways to not only share those stories, but also come up with those stories. What makes a good success story? And like I said, then we're going to move into the research, which I know we're all looking forward to. Everyone on this call has played a key role in understanding or helping us understand really what matters to our members, most importantly. And today, because today's a shortened effort, then we're just going to move on with our next steps to look forward to what's going to happen in the fourth quarter of this year and rolling into 2022. I can't believe I'm actually saying that number. But yeah, thanks for everyone being here today. So just wanted to remind everyone that we are recording this member roundtable. And as you have all seen when you came on, we started with an Mentimeter. We're going to have a few more of those, which are really, really fun and helps make it a little bit more interactive. And please, obviously type your questions in the chat, but take yourself off mute and just pipe in with questions. We want to make this interactive as possible. And as you can see, we're also going to have a crowd favorite of the breakout groups, and we're going to try to keep those breakout groups small to really make them interactive and impactful for everyone. So yeah, thanks for everyone being here, and I'll turn it over to Chad. Great,
thanks so much, Greg. And Wendy sends her best. She should be joining us here soon, but Greg is the chair of our group, and Katie Dooley is our co-chair. Are supporting us here, and again expressing support, and thanks for all that you all do. So this slide here just shows a quick rough plot of what we're able to figure out where people all are, where you're based. You can definitely see this. Again, this is the member. These are dots for where the member organizations all are, which is pretty exciting, pretty amazing. The number of organizations represented in our organization. I should say one thing really fast, kind of vernacular. So we say members, that's you, people who have paid money to very actively support and really kind of drive the direction of what it is that this group does. So that's a member. Then there's the community, SAM community. And so that'd be like, looking at this map, it'd be everybody that is not in this call, but that attends our webinar. So as a order of magnitude, for example, our mailing list of people that we have, we maintain, ACEEE maintains a mailing list for us that has about 500 people that get our community emails that go out. And then for you all, I don't know, Derek, do you have a rough number of how many organization members we have? Like, is it 20 or 30, something like that? No.
I think we're up to 20. I have to double check, but we're in a little bit above 20.
Yeah, and then there's like yeah, so it's like 20, and then there's some grayness to that. But anyways, the point is, yeah, so there's the SM communities we engage with, but again, you're the ones in the QMR here that are again actively driving what it is that we do. So I would say a few things. So one is with respect to members, we're still figuring it out, if you will. This is our we're still within the first year of getting going with having members and putting value propositions in front of you that were important to you and to your organizations to pay money to join. And so trying to connect value to you, right? Provide value to you that meet what your needs are and the needs of your organization. Trying to find like a right-sized approach. So striking the balance between how often to meet and not be too much, but be enough. And so a lot of those things, again, we're figuring out as well. And again, how you interact between you as the members and again, how that all works with respect to the entire community. And with that, if you have ideas or suggestions, you can put things in chat today. We get a couple of opportunities for you to put also into some Mentimeter polls, or drop a line to me or Greg or Katie or Wendy or any one of your favorite leadership team members. We don't care. We are all here to support the efforts of the mission of what we're trying to do here, and to support you and make sure that you're receiving value. So we want to make sure that we're hearing you and asking you. So thank you. So success stories. Greg mentioned this before. So yeah, we see ourselves as a great convener for success stories. If you remember last December, we had our webinar last December was all about success stories. People submitted them and it was great. We had a little contest. We actually had leadership team members select which ones we had the favorite. We put them up and then let the entire SM community vote on what they thought was the best. We thought that was a great, was a successful thing and a good, meaningful activity. So when we think about this, again, we think that this group is a great group for that. And then with that, I'm highlighting this here, that our kind of an internal, expectation, we kind of think about this as we would love to, we think we want to at least aspire to and try to do this, is to be able to feature each one of your organizations at least once a year in communications to the SM community. So we have that in a few different ways. Like our newsletters, for example, that we send out quarterly, that those could be a great place to put success stories. Of course, we have that end of the year webinar. If there's other opportunities to share them before then that's also great. That we'll be figuring those out. But that's the general idea, is that we want to be doing that more. And again, thinking of each one of you. And again, looking at your cams, so thinking of, for Energy 350 or SBW or EPS or SoCal Gas, you name the organization. If you're a member of ours, we want to be featuring you and what you do. And so that's a big thing we want to do. And so as far as the process of how we will be sharing those, of course, right away, if you have success ideas, email us. Again, hey, we had this great success story. Again, drop us a line. Any one of us are fine. We're also going to put together a survey link. You just have a standing Survey Monkey basically out there that we can then be able to you can submit stories at any time to those. So we'll have that link coming to you soon. You can submit it. We're going to try to keep it as easy as possible for you to just put the notion in there, the idea. And then, for example, when it comes time to working on a given newsletter, usually, for example, to date, it's been Shelley and Giselle from our team, from the leadership team, have been the champions of the newsletter. They would then look through the series of suggested or submitted success stories and say, oh, that was a great idea that Lane from Cascade had, and then reach out to you, Lane, and say, hey, do you have a photo of that or photo of the organization, or and I kind of work through with you and say, can we flesh this out a little more? Could you tell me a little more about this, and build that success story out into something, again, that could be optimally meaningful and impactful, again, to the community. So that's the process we're shooting for.
And let me share something else, Chad. I've done, well, I've actually thought of this a few times recently when we were talking about doing success stories in the QMR, is a lot of times we in the SEM community learn about what another program might be doing, and we're like, wow, that is awesome. So those points as well, we'd love to hear. We'd love to hear from you saying, hey, I think what NYSERDA is doing is amazing, or I think what Energy Trust of Oregon is doing in this one facet, and then we can reach out to that organization and learn more. So it doesn't always have to be your success story. Please think about your community members and just say, we're aspiring to do more like X, and so is doing that. Just let us know those points, and we can do the outreach and gather the information, like Chad was saying, for the newsletters. So I just wanted to share that. Sometimes it doesn't have to be your success.
That's so great, Greg. A great point. And so yeah, examples. Yeah, Cascade, you could let us know about something cool you did in California, or Energy 350, you could share something cool you did with Energy Trust of Oregon. Again, like there's all kinds of ways this could look. Kim Crossman could share something cool and that's happening in out east. I don't know all the places you work, Kim. You're all over the place. It's great. Having meaningful impact in a lot of places at once. It's great. So yeah, all that. So yeah, like you said, Greg, like having stories that kind of wrap those things together from different perspectives, and having multiple voices in it is lovely. It'd be very, very powerful. So let's go back to the poll. So if you haven't, if you've joined us since we had the first poll here, if you have, then you will need to open a web browser and go to menti.com and type in this code 14009845. It's at the top of the screen right now. And for those of you who did not close your browser window, respond to the first poll, then you should be able to respond. The question is, what makes a good story? Ooh, I'm loving these responses. This is great. Of course, people. Yep. Something unexpected. That is such a strong. The unexpected thing is that's an advanced one. Whoever put that one in that's a nice job. People making an impact. The voice of the customer. Yep, that's what this is all about. So that's a great call. Unique approaches, measurable results, drama. Love it.
Conflict and resolution. That's
yeah, exactly, Greg. It's so great. The character arc. You're basically all going to be doing my job for me here today.
Beginning, middle. I love the beginning, middle, and ending. That's always that's important.
Yeah. Good plot, conflict resolution, successful engagement, the full context of the journey. Seriously, it's like you all should be SEM professionals or something. You guys are really good.
Gravitas.
Yeah. Great. Counterintuitive findings, again, like the surprise thing, like the thing you just didn't see coming. I love this. I was thinking of examples for this. It's like I was like envisioning a story about Lane McWilliams, and Lane's like in college and has a dream. He's gonna one day, and his next step is gonna be law school, and everyone just goes, "What?
No way!"
Yeah. Didn't see that one coming.
I want to see Lane on a motorbike. That'd be great. That'd be great imagery.
So yeah. So okay, these are great. So let's flip back to the content. So so like we talked about, there'll be a few things we're definitely wanting to know. Who the players were, like Greg was saying, like could be the participants, the program administrators, the program implementers. The story that involves all of those is great. Different voices and different views of what it was. Of course, what happened. The savings is of course why we're here. It's our kind of common currency, but really it's about the people. People don't remember savings numbers. I hate to say it. People don't remember numbers. Studies show people don't remember numbers. They remember stories. Stories are what stick, and we'll get into that in a moment here. But definitely, so the point is, like, if you only come out with and then they had an ROI of this. It's like well, that's awesome, but don't expect someone to remember it, because they won't. But they remember the people, the stories so there's innovations, like a new cool thing or an impact, a meaningful impact, and then kind of getting into why over here on the right side. Again, making a difference, or like impact in the workforce. Like it's really helped to grow someone and make them into transform their careers. That's again key things that would be very successful. We talked. People have suggested about the arc, right? Raiders of the Lost Ark. Sorry, I'm a corny humor guy. The point is, like, yeah, good stories have an arc. They start with some kind of like setup basically, and it could be a backstory or a struggle, and then the aha, the big thing, the climax, like, oh, and then they were surprised to find blah, or this one key thing happened, and that's like really kind of the linchpin of the story. And then they start to execute. They're making the change over time, and then ultimately are more successful. But again, I would say, really, again, it's the setup, the aha, the kind of the climax, and then what happened, what the result was, or how they proceeded forward with that. And so always thinking in terms of that arc. If you just skip to the end and we got these results, well, that's awesome. That's great. But if can you set the story up and kind of get people bought in with this background and setup, and then what was the big aha? That's super strong again. So thinking of the arc. Can I get a quick show of hands in the web? Look back at the webcams again. Who has read Made to Stick? Chip and Dan Heath, the authors. I feel like I should advertise for this book. Okay, you all, or at least go to the Wikipedia page and look at Made to Stick and Wikipedia. Please do that. That's a good starting place. It's a great book. Fun read by Chip and Dan Heath. They came up with this mnemonic of call it success with one S. So just forget the second S. That stories that stick have these attributes. And I'll call it a few. One is unexpected. If you recall, a brilliant person amongst us here in the poll had an unexpected twist. And that's, again, a very powerful thing, a curveball. You're going down a certain path in the story and then surprise them. It's a surprise story, a left turn. That, again, that really does stick. Emotion, right? So definitely appealing to them, trying to hit them in the gut. Again, people don't care about dollars typically. They care about what the dollars do for them. They don't care about the savings, or they care what the savings do for them, what the meaning is for the environment or whatever other kinds of things. Like that kind of emotion is what people really care about. Of course, keeping things simple so that it's not wildly overly complicated is so important. Having some credibility to the story. And so, if you're talking about a story saying, and again, I'm just like picking on people I know they're here and I know their backgrounds. Dave Hall was an energy coach, but had this background in organizational psychology, and he saw this thing happen with this one customer. She had this setup, and it had the credibility established, but then a surprise happened, and a twist happened along the way, and it completely shocked Dave, and it kind of challenged everything he knew about organizational psychology with an energy project, or I don't know. I'm just making this up, but you get the idea,
true
right?
Story.
Dave's like, that was yesterday. That's great. But you get the idea, right? So then all important attributes, I would say, again, if you can do the arc and do any one of these things, and then mnemonic, your stories will be better. They're going to stick better. And that's what we're really all trying to do, right? Our stories, what we're trying to do in our workshops and our work, are to get people to change what they're doing, right? And by putting an ROI in front of someone, that's not going to get them to change. That's just the ticket to get in the door. We have to have the story that's going to really drive the impact and make them keep operating that compressor the way they need to keep operating it, or get that buy-in at the executive level that's going to make other projects happen, make other organizational change happen. So you don't have to do all these things when you're submitting success stories to us, but any one of these are great. And again, we may come back to you and ask you for some more ideas or help you to build those or flesh those success stories out. So with that, now we're going to go to one of everyone's favorites, the breakouts. So in these, we're gonna put you in some small groups and let you go off with, I think we're shooting for 3 people, and let you share some successes and let you all spend a few minutes of time doing that. If you remember from breakouts before within Zoom, you'll basically get whooshed off. We've all agreed there should be a sound effect, like a flying you away, and then one you can also then when you're wrapping the thing up, it'll have a little timer that'll come on and it'll say we're wrapping it up, and then maybe some music could play. We need some music at the end, like the Golden Globes, to tell you to stop talking. But we don't have that. But at least watch the clock, and that'll tell you when to start wrapping things up. But work on something. If you have a story that you think has some legs, put it out there and let your fellow breakout folks help you to build it out. So Sada, are we ready to go? Sada is here helping us to facilitate. Thank you. Okay, so everyone buckle up. See if we can kind of grab your imaginary seatbelt, buckle up. safety first and get ready. And we're gonna hit the what, 2, 1,
Wow.
all right, go.
There we go.
Hello, Dustin?
We lost Greg in transit.
Oh, sorry. I was
There
going
you
to say
go.
my
You're
video
muted, Chad.
before, so that was good. I was trying to figure out how to refresh my video.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and close rooms. It'll give them a warning, like a countdown, right? So
The final countdown.
yeah.
Okay, I'm not good at singing those 70s songs, so I'll leave it to Chad.
Give them you're still muted, Chad.
It automatically mutes you. I didn't.
Yeah, when you
know
join
that.
the meeting, it automatically mutes you.
I'm like, I said some pretty profound things. I never heard them.
I was singing the final countdown. Do-do-do.
Oh, okay. Huh. Oh well. Okay.
I need to have those songs ready on my phone, but the funniest thing is now my teenagers are playing songs from the 80s, and I'm like, why are you listening to like Styx and things like that? That was my generation.
I
That was
know.
really cool. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
It's retro?
My daughter doesn't like I was like, oh, this is when I was in high school, and she's like, yeah, it's terrible. I'm like, no, it's not. It's awesome. It's the
My
best.
kids get annoyed when I start liking their music, and then I start adopting it. Dad, why are you listening to Korean pop music? I'm like, you got me hooked.
Yeah. I think radio stations do have an 80s theme going
First
on.
hour.
For sure.
Now we're moving to me. Yeah. Okay.
All right, welcome back, everyone. A little audio feedback, and now we're good though. Okay, while folks are coming back in, give everyone a chance to share some cool success stories. So you can just summarize any kind of quick thoughts. You don't have to type anything in there, but if you have something profound, you came back. If Kathleen was talking to Genrick and came away with a really, really cool story, a little snippet to share that. I learned an 8 minutes. Virtual for the win. Nice. Okay, we'll leave this poll open. We'll get back to keep things going. So we're talking about research. So a few things to call out. Here's our Venn diagram to look smart.
Right.
This is yeah, Wendy always just says this every time I put a Venn diagram. She's like, this makes us look smart, everybody. So I think the thing to call out here is that you the members, have been interested in certain things. And from the last QMR and in this QMR, you have weighed in and expressed some interest in things. We've also had basic research topics that have kind of either been happening that are going on in the marketplace from others, perhaps, or so on, or things that have been come up from the SM community. And then lastly, there's what the funders are interested in. And so basically taking a look at those different perspectives and trying to map the confluence of that. And I said it's a key role that the leadership team members that we play is trying to help to kind of connect these dots. So when we do this, we're thinking about it in a few different important ways. And again, you the members are, I think need to know these things because, well, one, you've paid money, and so you need to know where does this money go, and then also providing you some transparency as well, so you understand how we operate. With respect to like these research projects, funding can come in a couple of ways. So on the left side, we can see in-kind funding. So where organizations come to the table, for example, DOE came to the table with time that they were able to bring to us from Lawrence Berkeley National Lab, where LBNL was able to put time into doing the research for us. It's not just them. If you wanted to donate time as well and provide in-kind funding, if you will, of time, then that's also a great possibility, or it is a possibility. Could be great, could be an impossibility for your end as well, or a real difficulty. On the other side here is monetary funding, so coming in with funds for a certain kind of topic and that you wanted to pursue. And so, for example, Energy Trust of Oregon, they're interested in some research. But again, it could be you as well, at your organization. You say, hey, this is really important, meaningful to us. We're trying to wrap our arms around it. It doesn't seem like it's something we should be doing. Our utility, our organization, or us doing it on our own seems kind of counterintuitive. We should put money together with other folks so we could pursue something. And so those two general sources of funding then kind of come in to the center category here, where then the North American Collaborative is going to support that in a few different ways. So one is that ACEEE, the administrator of the North American Collaborative, then manages or can play a role managing the research projects. And that's something, again, they did for the cost effectiveness research, where they basically they're putting the time in, again, not for free, it costs money for them to do that. And so some of the research funding that we've had in the past pays for that, as well as some of our member funding pays for that as well. Next is ACEEE, as well as the leadership team, developing and managing a vendor process. So if we have a monetary funding over here, people give us money to do certain types of funding. Then if we are going to get basically contract out to an organization to then do that funding, I'm sorry, to do that research, then we need to develop a process that's, again, transparent and equitable for different types of vendors to participate. And then we also need to have that process, like, be able to manage it as well. So again, do we do an RFI, for example, to say, would you be interested in doing research? And people respond, and then we go through a process to look at those responses, and then we have them set up in a pool, if you will. And then for different specific funding opportunities, we can say, all right, here's what we have, and then do a quick RFQ, like a short thing for the different vendors that would do that research. So again, I want to call it out that it's like, in other words, this kind of like getting monetary funding is wonderful, but also kind of it could trigger other kind of work. And not to say that we shouldn't do it or do this kind of activity, but it just, again, to give you an idea of what we're trying to do to be, again, transparent and equitable. But again, a couple of other buckets of things. I think you all know the North American, the leadership team, all 10 of our members of the leadership team all volunteer our time. None of us are paid for the work we do here. And so it's all volunteer, which is great. So then if we need to provide input to guide the research direction, then that's, again, taking time. And so there's only a certain amount of bandwidth. Hats off, again, I should say, to Peter Bassett and to John Nickel, who both have been the key people that have led, as volunteers, led the research to date. And then lastly, the things we should be doing is coordinating with other organizations that are in the marketplace and are doing great work. CEE, for example, many of you are familiar with, has been doing great work for a long time, and it will continue to do so. And so coordinating with them about what they're trying to do. ACEEE also does other kind of research outside of their work with us. The Northwest SM Collaborative, and there's other collaboratives as well, but the Northwest one usually has standing working groups that work continually on certain types of efforts that, again, can be tied into. So again, it's calling out the kind of what's going on, I guess, how we're thinking about these things. I would say a lot of these we haven't totally figured out yet. More that we're just trying to think about these different things. I would say, if, again, any of you, you're all members, if you have ideas, suggestions, please drop us a line if you've got ways to think about this. If you want to help out, if you want to have some ideas on, for example, a vendor process that we could use to, again, to get vendors into a pool. If you get some suggestions or questions, things you don't see here or hearing us say, please let us know as well. Again, we owe it to you to make sure that you know where things are and what our thinking is. So then a few other sources. So we talked about you as members have expressed some things you've been interested in, and so that this came out of the QMR. Definitely, reconciling capital measures as it relates to SEM, integrating GHG into our work, into our SEM work, and then thinking about future design possibilities. These are all things you came away with. In some of the previous meetings, these looked we had the breakouts. We also had in the SEM Summit where people got a chance to kind of vote. The SEM community got to weigh in on some things. And so you can just see those things here. And on this next slide, again, some similar but different types of feedback from different levels of people, if you will. Again, SM community, people that attend the SM Summit, and the members, you all. And what we've seen, and by the way, sorry, I'll send you these slides. This is all recorded for you, but you can look back at this at any time. But going back to this Venn diagram, we're trying to find that confluence where there's an alignment between what funders are interested in, what the members, which you all are interested in, and kind of where the research kind of projects lie. And so I would say that two things that are the most kind of currently, it appears, kind of coming out of that, coming into view, coming into focus, would be one, cost effectiveness and non-energy benefits. Basically, those two things. Definitely, Energy Trust of Oregon has expressed their interest in really understanding that, and then GHG integration, and this would be kind of more of in the form of an in-kind donation of time from the US DOE. GHGs are a huge priority to them. These are all, I guess I'd say, verbally expressed interest from these two potential funders, Energy Trust of Oregon and the US DOE and LBNL. But yeah, some more things for us to do to figure out, again, how we would proceed on those things. So then, again, we do have some other questions. Again, are there other funding sources? Are there other ways to manage this funding? Are there ways to be more efficient in how we manage the research? And then, of course, understanding, are any of you interested in volunteering to help out in that process as well? So give some good questions to folks. I'll put it out to, there's about 10 minutes left. That people can put it into chat. I think we've got a few minutes. If people have any questions that they would like to verbally express, I'll give you the chance. So please unmute yourself before asking a question or providing any thoughts. No questions about research.
I have a question.
Yes, Kit.
I'm wondering if anyone is working on connecting SEM work to industrial decarbonization. Is anybody trying to make the connection or doing any research in that area?
Chad, maybe I'll take that.
Peter,
so one of the research initiatives that is going on right now is Natural Resources Canada has engaged ACEEE as part of the North American Collaborative, and it's developed a potential study to determine how much carbon could industrial SEM deliver over the next decade, couple of decades. And so that study is not completed yet, but it is very much trying to generate the information that can then inform policymakers to think about SEM as one of the catalysts for bringing about carbon reduction. So that's something that is well underway in Canada right now. And in our recent discussions with LBNL, Lawrence Berkeley National Lab, they've expressed that the priority at the federal government level is decarbonization. Therefore, LBNL resources are going to be focused on those kinds of initiatives. So we've been talking to them about whether a study in the US, similar to what Canada's doing, might make sense, to develop a national picture of the potential for this to be a vehicle for carbon reduction.
Yeah, I know it is of interest to LBNL. They've communicated that to us, but not much more than that.
We're trying to see whether that might crystallize into an actual research project that they could do their in-kind contribution on and the leadership team would, play a role in involvement in that. And so we think that could help the overall objectives of SCM and of course the more important objective of decarbonization. So
Yes, that's
yeah.
clearly the focus of the DOE, US DOE here now. And to your point, I believe, making that connection through some solid research could really give SCM some legs, whether it be through mandates or not. But I think that's a good avenue for this group to consider working on.
And I will say that another area that's come up is the considerate, like I was invited to speak to the regulator recently in Quebec, where I live, and about including carbon in their cost effectiveness test, and other non-energy benefits. So we had the internal conversation with ACEEE, and it seems like there are some states where that's already occurring. Carbon is included by the regulator, and maybe many which don't have that. So again, that's something that could help boost SCM. And then of course, Energy Trust is interested to look at other benefits beyond carbon, non-energy benefits like social equality and other factors that might lead to efforts of SCM to work with disadvantaged communities and things like that. So, but the carbon seems to be a pretty strong element right now. And so we're thinking this is probably, we're going to try to make this a key piece of the next stage research.
Yeah, that's the tea leaves I'm reading here as well. Thank you for that, Peter.
Thanks, Kit.
Thank you for the question, Peter, for your response. Tamara, do you mind if I put you in the spot? I know you've been one of the co-leaders with two from Cascade on the Northwest Collaborative Working Group on GHG mission integration of SCM. Yeah, any quick thoughts for the group?
Yeah, I mean, we do have that working group, which you've highlighted here, which is great. If anyone in the Northwest Collaborative's interested and hasn't joined that yet, please definitely reach out. We did do a survey, just like a very high level lay of the land type survey with administrators in the Pacific Northwest, just to see what is out there right now. Sort of predictions from an administrator perspective in terms of if you don't have mandates or you don't have a program that specifically targets GHG reduction right now, do you see that coming in the future? There's lots of, I think, follow-up information we could get and other survey directions we can go now that we have this high-level information. We'll be reporting out on it at the Northwest Collaborative Workshop in October. But I think one of the big things coming out of that will be that action planning session to see where the interest lies next and sort of if we want to get more detailed around action items beyond just figuring out, the first year was a lot of what are people interested in, what's out there, maybe not a lot yet. So there is that opportunity now to figure out how we make that tie with SCM, how we actually integrate certain pieces. Are there tools that organizations need? Is it calculations like Kit's mentioned there around getting the data to help back up that business case? So I think lots of room for where we go next, but there are opportunities to have actual papers developed or surveys done in that kind of thing from that working group.
That's great. Thank you, Tamara. And definitely, again, thanks for sort of jumping in on that. And again, an illustration of the value, and you can illustrate it here on this slide, where we're working with and trying to align two different activities happening for different organizations. Again, see what Peter called out, Peter Bass called it from NRCan, and then again with the Northwest Collaborative as well. So that's we are the collaborative. We should collaborate.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty basic. So a few things. So look at the last slide. The Northwest SCM Collaborative Fall Workshop happening in a little less than a month, and so please do sign up for that. If you're interested in attending, you don't have to be in the Northwest to attend. If you are interested in the research, either in providing support for it, or you've got questions or ideas about how we're proceeding with the research, please reach out to a member of the LT. Again, you saw a couple of the topics that were of interest to us. NEBs, I'm sorry, non-energy benefits, NEBs, as well as GHG integration. Those are the two top ones. But so if you have thoughts on that, then let us know. And then our next webinar, which will be again for the SEM community, like you all and everyone else, is happening in just over a month, November 3rd. It's on SEM and COVID part 2. If you haven't noticed, COVID's still around. Yeah, I know. We would have hoped differently, but it's still here. So impacting our programs, impacting our work in many ways, and so we'll be talking a lot about those different ways here in that webinar. So then we'll go to one last poll, and it is feedback. So if you go to Mentimeter, Menti.com, type in those numbers 140098445, or refresh your thing should have refreshed your browser. What constructive feedback do you have for us? I will say while you're typing it in, a mea culpa that we planned in this being 2 hours, and we had a scheduling issue came up when we get it set up, and so we were only to make it 1. So we apologize. We would like to have this be a little more time to stretch out and get you all talking with each other.
Homework. I love the homework idea.
Really?
Yeah, we always give our SEM participants homework, and we wonder why they don't do it. So
I was going to say, I was like, we make our workshops, so you show up and do it right then. Ooh, more chat-ups in the final countdown solo. Nice. Actually, during when the breakouts were happening, Derek and I were talking about the final countdown song. It was like an Arrested Development, if you don't know that song. Yeah, peanut butter and chocolate thing from SEM Summit. That was another good memory of interacting with you. Music, yeah, okay, all right, we can do this. There's all things we can do. Perfect. Well, again, I'm so happy to see all of you. It is such a great community. Hopefully you're happy seeing each other, being a part of something special here. Again, a big hats off to all of you and to your organizations. It's a big deal, and we appreciate all of your time and insights to help us continually elevate what it is that we do.
Yeah, we just met back in July, and it seemed like a really long time since we last got together. So I was happy for this event today. So thank you all for sharing.
Yeah. Thanks. And again, we'll send a link out for the SEM success stories. We'll send that out to all the members so you can start sending those our way. And again, I'm looking forward to then taking those and working with you to develop them and share them back out to the community. So keep up the great work. Enjoy the rest of your day. Lane, please show up next time on one of the motorcycles.
Yes, please.
Or Faith, you can roll in. Is that that's not a real bicycle behind you, I don't think.
Yeah.
Is it? No, it's not. It's a photo of. Okay.
It's a photo.
Yeah.
I'm at home. Otherwise, my bicycle would be behind me in my office, at SBW office.
Actually, I'll have a challenge to you all. If anyone can make a really, like in that trope in some TV shows, like in The Wire, they always have like the thing up on the wall with like the yarn between the different photos and like this thing. If someone can make an SEM related, like whatever you want to call that, like the